Good afternoon, folks. My name is David. I'm working on stuff for Terrain-Tronics here. What you're looking at, with no one here to see or listen to this, maybe you'll catch it later, are spotlights that can be used for DMX. So these are, your classic kind of the things you see at jewelers and things, right? The spotlights you see, and they're all individually controllable from an iPad app. So I can, for instance, turn down the brightness on this one, and this one, even on this one, I think. It was this one. There we go. 1, 2. Now, the only thing that these three spotlights have in common right now is power. I'm running, for the sake of prototype, I'm running a USB power into each of them, and they each have a little controller board inside that lets me set the brightness I want. Now, this app is called Photon, or Photon 2. And what it does is it's designed for stage lights and so on. But as we do everything in miniature here on this channel, you'll see that everything here is on miniature as well. I can even, and I haven't got it hooked up right now, I have a switch that I can control, a smart switch that can switch on a fogger or not, depending on whether this is halfway below or halfway above on this channel. So each of these are different channels in the light show, and these 1, 2, 3 are set up for 1, 2, 3. All right, so I was going to give you a tour of what's inside. Let me see if anyone's actually managed to come around and join. No, not yet. I know it's a funny time on a Saturday afternoon, but the main thing we're going to do here is let me see if I can jump onto YouTube and watch the chat in real time. That might be nice and easy. Let me see. Terrain-Tronics is live, and you're getting a shot of my stomach at the moment, which is lovely. Okay, and I think that's me that's joined the chat. Well, it's me that classes as being in the chat. So we'll close the live chat just for a minute, and we're going to start working on this channel by here. So I'm going to unplug it. And I'm gonna, let's see if I can join the live chat here. Come say hello, there we go. All right, so inside each of these, not mind sharing, so this is a 3D printed piece. Let me bring this over to show you. Now then. Let me see. Each of these has a Wemos D1 Mini and a Kilgarran Castle on board. And then I'm taking one of the outputs from the Kilgarran Castle, and it runs to this front light on here, which actually has a little snoot on it. There we go. These are the kinds of bulbs. You get them for about $3 to $4 each in a set of 6 from Amazon. They have a high power LED inside, and then normally they hook back along a big long wire to a separate USB controller. So what I've done is basically replace that USB controller with one that talks Wi-Fi and talks this special control method called DMX or ArtNet, which is the wireless version of DMX, to the output pins. But clearly, this is a nuisance. I've got all this wire, which is too much, and really all I need is about 2, maybe 3 inches worth to go from this front LED around to the back. So that's what we're going to do now, and in this video I'm going to show you how I do that. So lights are on. Let's move the minis out the way so I don't hurt them. Okay, now in my genius I wrapped these around thinking my life would be easier. Clearly not. So first thing I'm going to do is unplug this, bring this down here and out. So this 3D printed model will be available on Thingiverse soon. I'll make it available. If you download and then you'll buy a Wemos around. Nice and easy that way, I think. Okay, how long this wire is? This is crazy, crazy long. And let's have a quick look. All this extra wire, I need to cut this down long enough so it can come through this little hole by here, and then in the board itself. So First things first, this is the scary bit. Chop the wire. Okay, and I'm going to bring this wire through the hole now. Let's have a look. And just so you can see what it looks like on the other side. You can see I'm just bringing this in like this. Now I have plenty of spare wire in here, and I can loop it around and stuff in here without any problems. Now, these two wires here, let's break them apart a little bit. Pull them apart a little bit, lovely. And I'm going to use my wire strippers here. Now these are made by Hacko, I think. These are Hacko tools, CHP quality hand tools. And let's just cut a tiny bit off of the strip. There we go. 1, 2. We'll wrap the tin foil a little bit. Now then, this is the clever bit. We are going to replace this guy. The box itself can be reused. These connectors, these are very, very special connectors, and I'm hoping this can stay in focus. The streaming bandwidth is pretty low, but these crimp on. They don't solder on. They actually tighten up around the plastic and the metal, and then you can slide them into the housing when you're ready. So get that out of the way. Now normally if you get these kits, these are called JST XH connectors. If you get these from Amazon, then they'll come with a strip like this, so you have to bend and take off one of these. I'm going to try and show you as I go here. It all depends on how well things stay in focus and how much bandwidth I get for streaming. Something tells me it's not too happy. Let me just see on the back of the phone here. Any complaints? No complaints so far, other than resolution, I think. Okay, so this is a special tool that you can get with the connectors, and you'll see here it's that you can hear it ratcheting, click, 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 and it squeezes these special connectors in a special way around the wire. So I'm gonna just start by preparing the connector in the block here. Bear with me one moment. There we go. Okay, that's ready for the wire to come in. Let me grab the wire and feed this in like this, and then we squash down. Yeah. Now this doesn't always perfectly work. You know, they normally have machines to do this kind of thing, but it looks like it has here. I'm not sure how well you can see, but the end is wrapped around the plastic, and other parts are wrapped around the metal. And if I give that a gentle tug, that's not going anywhere. So now to do the other one, again we take off the connector from the special strip. This strip is designed to go through a machine and so on. I'll pop that down right there. And let's get the tool ready. Once again, we'll feed this in. Forgive me, I've got to do this bit kind of manually a little bit. I've got to watch it myself. Okay. There we go. We start closing this in. Oopsie daisy. Tell you, I've got to that age where I have to look over my glasses rather than in. There we go. So that's now primed and ready. So now I bring in the cable, or the wire I should say. Give it a good push and crimp. And that should now give me two connectors that are ready to rock. So now I take the housing. I'm gonna, oopsie daisy, come back before you fall, otherwise I'd have to run into the garage again. And we'll pop this in any old way. And I'll tell you why I'm doing it any old way, because I can flip this around in the connector if I want. So now look, ta-da! We can very easily hook this up, so let's do that. Let's slide this connector in. Now then, we need power. Let's get some power into it, and we'll know very quickly if we've got it connected the right way around. And if not, you'll see what I do. Plug in, it's powered on, the blue light comes on, and I think I don't have it hooked up correctly. So let's spin this around. LEDs are wondrous things. If you plug them in the wrong way, most of the time they'll forgive you and just not work. Is this going to work for me now? No? Okay, let's have a look at the our controller. So here's my controller. Let me turn up everything to maximum. I'm not sure which channel this one is, but is that one lighting up? Well, let's turn the other ones down then. That one's off now. And then this one is off. So the only one that should be on is this one. Yeah, okay. So now let's plug this LED in the other way around. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to be like, why is that? Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's lit up beautifully. So now I can tuck this. Let's unplug this for a second. We'll tuck all of this in just to hide it for now. I like leaving myself a little bit of wire, you know, just in case. But you'd be amazed how much room wire can take in these systems. So let's just drop that over there so that it loops around. Bring this in over here. But as I said, I'll be sharing the 3D printer files for these cases pretty soon. Let's go back to the YouTube I had open just in case anyone said hello. No, not yet, that's fine. It's a Saturday afternoon, people are busy with kids' sports and things like that. Now let me bring this down like this, and in, and then slide that on top. And now I should, in theory, let's jump back to Photon, plug this in, and this will take, you know, this is a standard USB, but in theory, come on, David. Work this time. Which way around is this? This way around. Voila. And it's going to connect. And it's on. Here we go. Now, I also have a what's called a snoot I've made for these. And the snoot is designed to go around and kind of, you know, sharpen the area of light that gets shone. So if you want to make like a spotlight, you might put a snoot on it. And then what I have are little gels. These are used in lighting, and you get them in a big sheet. But these, hey Jason, I am making spotlights for D&D. So I like to run lighting for my games, and what I tend to do is, you know, I have the big disco lights and so on. And you know, controlled from an app and so on. But I have a game and we're going to be running at somebody else's house pretty soon. And one of the goals of that is to, you know, have a portable lighting system. So seeing as I'm not really trying to light up the entire room, I thought to myself, you know what? Why don't I just make a spotlight system? And so let me show you how this kind of looks when it gets going. Let's see if I can. Oopsie daisy. I've got a problem that this is a prototype. Give me a chance here, guys. Let me bring you around here so you can see what it looks like. There we go. Forgive me, scissors and things in the background, and it's the middle of the day here in Texas, so okay. So there we go. Now, if I take the app, and I'll show you what I'm doing in real time here. We'll start off the scene in the dark. Can you guys see that? Yes. Now this is an app called Photon 2. It's used for, you know, kind of stage, you know, shows and things like that. It's free for so many numbers of channels, up to about 16 channels, which covers this for quite a bit. So we can have a little bit of regular lighting. Let's turn this. There we go. There's our mini. Right, in a room all by himself with no doors or windows. If I want to add some more lighting around it, I've got another one here, so I could turn up the light on that. Let's shine it in the right direction. These are selfie sticks with stands built into them, which I quite like. You know, once I have this all sorted, what I'll have is lighting that you know. Once I have it all sorted, you know, they'll have a battery power pack for each of them and so on. But very quickly I can, if I want to change a scene or into a fight or something like that, I can, set it up so that these dim, and then this kind of red or purple very quickly comes up for a change in scenery. Or if I want to go from daytime to nighttime and so on, it becomes pretty easy. So there's a lot of options there. I'm quite excited at the theatrical side of the storytelling in D&D. Hopefully that answers your question. Let me come back to the chat here. Yeah. Oh, thank you, folks. I really appreciate that. It's sometimes it feels like I'm in my own echo chamber with this stuff. Here it is. Yeah. So these are you may have missed getting 3D printed boxes, a Wemos D1 Mini, which is a board you can buy from Amazon, and then one of my products inside it then that drives the big LEDs, and then these lights are just they're called jewelers lights, and they go, when you go to like the jewelry shop and they've got lights shining on the nice little rings like that and watches that you can look at. It's just those, and they're 5-volt ones. They're designed for USB, and so that means this whole contraption can then be powered by USB, and that makes it, to me, that's a convenience then, because what it means, I could actually have one little USB power bank for each of these, actually helping to hold them down, giving them some weight at the bottom, and then I just run a single USB wire up each of them and so on. But yeah, the only way to go. Oh yeah, USB is definitely the only way to go. There's right now this is all prototype, so I've got a power brick, one of those multi USB power bricks plugged into the wall or whatever. But with this, I've also got a reptile fogger that what's his name? Sebastian at Atmos Seeker recommends. That one, you have to switch on and off with mains power. Give me a moment here. And so, let me see if I can plug this in to show you guys. I've actually got smart sockets, if you're familiar with the kind of, smart sockets you can get from Amazon. But I changed the software that runs on it. Very, very easy to do. If you can program an Arduino, you can do this. As in, you don't even have to know any code. I can give you the code to do it. But it essentially makes this into a on-off switch that you can control from the same theater lighting software. And so, just to prove a point, right, what I've got here is a little, USB power bit and then a little USB torch. And I'm going to show you what I'm up to here. Let me plug this in so I can show you. So that way, and then that way. It's because that's what I'm doing right now is, let me take this. You're seeing part of my kitchen now. Let's go back to Photon. So let me move the camera a little bit so you can see what I'm up to here. So you can see here's my Photon software that controls the lights. I can actually go to this one. And there's various sequences I can run, but for instance, if I switch this, it'll switch on for a few seconds, then switch off. So on for a few seconds. So this is, you got to imagine it making smoke during this time. I'm making smoke, and then should be switching off pretty soon. No? Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. We can look up why it's not doing that. So hold on. Let me switch these lights off. Come on. Is this gonna negotiate with me? There we go. Now this should go back. I'm still learning this software more than anything. Let's switch that off as well. And then now I can do this. And this software runs sequences, right? So you can say, hey, where are my sequences? Here we go. Play my sequence. And this should 5 seconds of smoke every 30. So it switches on. 1, 2, 3. I'm counting slowly. The off. And it'll stay off now for the next 30 seconds while it carries on. And then it'll switch back on. And so you're making smoke for 5 seconds, then giving it 30 seconds to, to distribute itself around and so on. Blue's an amazing color, by the way. Blue and greens for scenery is amazing. It's what I go to every time. There we go. So that's running 5 seconds in every 30. And the nice thing about this lighting is then, you know, during your actual game on the night, you know, you can create your own GUI. It's very easy to do. You know, if you can do Excel and stuff like that. It's kind of that level of technology. But you know, I can very quickly, you know, on the table, change the brightness of different lights and so on. So I think that's quite. There we go. That's my purple one. There we go. Purple. Come on. There we go. Bring the other two down. No, bring the other two down. No, it's the middle one. Okay, bring the outside ones down then. And I'm left with purple again. And I can, yeah, so there we go. That's the end of the show for today, guys. You know, the main thing I wanted to do was shorten the wires for this one. I might do the same on this one over here as well. Could you mount them on an overhead trestle? That's a really great question. So, yes. So the box itself. Let me hold on. I need a weight here to hold the to hold things down. The box itself uses the little 3D printed box I've made uses a 1/4 inch hole essentially. So just like photography equipment, you can then very easily change that. Okay, so you can see here's the box, comes off. You see there's a 1/4 inch hole here that goes to a GoPro connector that I have that I 3D printed. Very, very easy to do. I'm going to simply unplug this. There we go. Now then, we'll grab this connector. Not sure how much you guys are catching of this. This is what I was doing earlier, which is shortening these really long ones of wire. So it takes a little skill working with these connectors. They're not a simple walk in the park, but once you have the basic set and the tool, in total it's about $20. We'll see how much that is in the US in the next couple of weeks. Let me move this in front of the camera. All I'm going to do is essentially strip a little bit of the wire. I'm going to switch the other light on as well so I can see what I'm doing. My eyesight isn't quite what it once was. Let's go back to this so I can see any more chat. How does the software talk to the Arduino? Okay, so that's a really good question. So the software running on the Arduino, and this is not just a regular Arduino that actually has Wi-Fi in it. And the wireless lighting standard talks to it broadcasts across the entire network, right? So if you have a Wi-Fi in your house, the software that's running on the iPad, or you can get one that runs on a PC as well, broadcasts to every single device on the network. As long as the device is on the network, it's listening and hearing it. And the software that's running on the Wemos is going, okay, I'm listening. What shall I do with this information? What shall I do with this information? The code that I have running on the Wemos listens and drives the Kilgarren board, which is this one on top, appropriately. Now, this Kilgarren board can drive up to 6 LEDs. So if you wanted to run a wire from this one over here to this one by here, all that's possible, right? I'm just being kind of lazy and I like the idea of only having one power source per LED and so on. But you can run up to 6 and listen to 6 channels on that wireless DMX stream channel, whatever you want to call it, on that broadcast, and tune in and take it from there. So let's pop this in here. Here we go. Clamp down. Now, I mentioned it earlier, I'm not sure if you guys are joined by then. This tool comes with a kit. You can go on Amazon and the JSTXH connector, and then this tool that clamps this wire connector around the wire. Really, really nice to use. No soldering required. Which again, I really, really like, because I can do this at the kitchen table without my wife yelling at me about leaded solder. So, actually, my wife doesn't really know about leaded solder. I'm going to keep it that way. But I'm not making even more of a mess with wires of solder and things like that. So we put the crimp connector in, and we launch from there. Anyway, with that, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Don't forget to come over and buy products from Terrain-Tronics. This is the Kilgarran Castle board. As many of you know, all my products are named after Welsh castles and so on. So that's now crimped in. We'll put it in the housing like this, and then plug it in, and fingers crossed it works. Lovely seeing you all. Thank you for joining today, and see you next time. Take care.